I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. Today we're going to look at what in some ways might be the best box-style goggle that you could buy for FPV, the Fatshark Transformer. Stay tuned. I got to start this review with a confession that I'm just completely committed to traditional Fatshark style goggles. I like them. I like that they're small. I like that they're compact, lightweight, easy to carry around. I like all the things that you know there is to like about them. And in fact, when Fatshark originally asked me to review the Transformer, I said no. I said I just don't think I'm the right guy for it. I don't think I would. I'm not the audience. But what changed my mind was that I went to Flight Fest East and they had a couple laptops set up running a simulator and you could try these Transformers out. And when I put them on my face, I could not freaking believe how good the image looked. People always say, oh, the image on box goggles is so much better than regular goggles. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I guess I had just been trying crappy box goggles because, yeah, no, this image is pretty amazing. It's huge. It's a 55-degree field of view. And some people would say, well, that's too big. I have to look around the screen. Well, it's, you're going for what you're going for. It's a huge field of view, and the color, the detail you can see on the big screen, it's just a really, really great viewing experience. And I'm going to do my best to show you that just by kind of pulling this out and trying to capture it with my camera, but I just don't know how good a job it'll be able to do. But we'll give it a try. In fact, I should even turn the lights off, shouldn't I? That's terrible filmmaking. Oh, well, now you can't see a damn thing because I'm not lit. There you go. And unfortunately, I'm really not going to be able to convey that to you because I can't show you how good this screen looks because my camera has to pick it up and I'm in a lit room, and it's a very good looking screen. It's very high resolution. It's sharp. It's got good contrast, good color. It's a very pleasant experience to work off of. So setting that aside, how do the features of these goggles stack up? So right now I'm using what they call the binocular viewer, and it's got two lenses in here. The lenses have adjustable diopter. I don't know the diopter range off the top of my head. It can almost get sharp. I have minus like 6.75 diopter. So I can almost get it in focus, but not quite. So it's something less than that. And it has adjustable IPD, interpupillary distance, so you can move them in and out depending on how wide set your eyes are. And you can see that the screen is in a mode where it puts the image side by side against each other. You then take and you put it into the viewer, like so. And then you've got the image there. There I am. See? There's also a full screen viewer, which is basically just like a box with no lens in it, like a traditional box goggle. And for that, the field of view is a little smaller. The advantage of that, I suppose, is when you're in this binocular mode, the resolution of the screen is cut in half because it's showing the same image left and right. By the way, it's a 720p screen, which some people will say, oh, why isn't it a 1080 screen? But we've got a standard definition feed coming from our camera, so 720p is more than enough resolution to capture all the detail that the signal is capable of conveying. I think additional like 1080p panel, I don't think there's much advantage there. But cutting the resolution in half for the binocular viewer does mean that you're cutting that down pretty substantially. So using the full frame viewer, you would get the full resolution, but you wouldn't get this more immersive binocular effect, and the field of view is narrower. I definitely prefer the binocular viewer, especially because I have corrective lenses, and the ability to do the adjustment here is certainly helpful. The binocular viewer comes with this extension cable, and the battery tucks into the back of the head strap here. And the head strap does have an overhead, so it definitely holds the weight really well. It is fully adjustable with Velcro on all three sides. Very convenient and comfortable to wear. I say comfortable to wear. Well, I did have a lot of uncomfortability around the nose hole. It would be nice if the foam extended to here, because this, when it was set so that it was even on my eyes, this was really pressing on my nose. So this could be cut out maybe a little deeper, and maybe with some foam to make it a little more comfortable. Of course, depends on how big a nose you've got, I suppose. Popping this out, we can take a closer look at the screen. When you first power up the screen, you have the option to press this button on the back and cycle through the different modes. So here is AV split, which is it's got an AV input. You can just use it as a regular display. Here is 16:9 full screen, would be useful if you have a widescreen camera. Here is 4:3 full screen, useful if you have a 4:3 camera. Here is AV 16:9. Again, you can have input a widescreen through the AV input. And I'm pushing the button, but nothing's happening. And the way it works is, for the first 5 seconds after power up, you have the option to change the mode, and then after that it locks you out. I think it would be nice if it reset that timer. So if I'm pressing the button going through the modes, it should give me another 5 seconds every time I press the button to keep cycling through until I get to the mode that I want. As it is, I think I have to take it out and plug it back in again. And now I can continue to cycle through the modes. 4:3 full screen AV, HDMI input. Yes, it does have an HDMI input right here, a mini HDMI, so that's nice. Having a spare screen with an HDMI input is really nice if you do any kind of video production or just for watching a freaking video on the plane maybe. But it's very nice to use this as a monitor for your camera with an HDMI input, or if you've got any other kind of display. Also, of course, you can use this to play simulators on your computer. Just by plugging it in, it'll act like a second monitor. HDMI split screen, again for use. The split screen modes are for use with the binocular viewer so that you get a separate image in each eye. And here we are back at RF split. Now, this is an RF mode, which means that it's picking up the signal from these two antennas. I don't actually have an antenna installed at this exact moment, but you can see from the two antenna connectors that it does have diversity, and it is actual proper RF diversity, not just antenna diversity. I haven't done a range test on this. That's just too resource intensive for me to do. I just got too much on my plate right now, but I have used this and flown this. I've also used it a lot as just a ride-along display while I'm out of the field, and informally, I haven't noticed any issues with its range. It certainly doesn't have noticeably worse range than anything else like a LaForge or Trudy or anything else I might be flying. One thing that I definitely don't like about it is the way the channels are selected. So the channels are selected here with these up and down buttons. So there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But the only way to change channels, you can see right up here, is to scroll race band 6, 7, 8, A band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, E band, etc. You have to just scroll through literally all of the channels. So the lack of an auto scan really seems like a pretty big oversight and would have bugged the heck out of me. Now you may say, well gosh, you can just go up and down as much as you need to, but like let's say you're going up and down through the channels and you find like a close channel but you're not quite on the right channel. There's also no signal strength indicator. So there's no way for you to know. I mean, if you get a clear picture when the quad is close, maybe you're on not quite the right channel, and when it flies away, you'll lose the signal. And there are some of you out there who are going, well, how could you not know what channel you're on? Well, I have a lot of quads. I don't always know what channel they're on. And if you're spectating, you also might not always know what channel the guy you're spectating is on. So I would say if I could make 2 improvements to this, one would be to have an auto scan function, and 2 would be to have some kind of an RSSI or signal strength readout to help me know whether I'm on the right channel. If you do get this screen, I think you have to be really careful with it. It does seem to be a little bit subject to scratching. You can kind of see it there. I've got some scratches here, and I don't know when this happened. I always put this back in the viewer, the binocular viewer, when I'm not using it to try to protect it from scratches. But sometimes I've got it out and about, or I've handed it to somebody else and they put it down on a table. Just through normal handling, you can see it is fairly scratched up. And yes, you can see that when you actually have the goggles on your face. So another improvement, if they were really serious about turning this into a product, would be wouldn't it be great if this had something like Gorilla Glass? Maybe. That would be it would certainly increase the price, but it would really make it a killer product. Now, if you go comparison shopping, you may find what appears to be the exact same product as this for about $100. That is the original Fatshark Transformer. This is the Transformer SE. The Transformer SE with the binocular viewer comes in closer to $200, but I gotta tell you, at $100, when I did the EV100 review, the Eachine EV100, people were really down on me for being so down on it. And I came back by saying, look, when you could get something like this for $100, granted it's a box goggle, not a Fatshark style goggle, but gosh, the overall image quality is so freaking much better than the EV100. For $100, I don't know why you wouldn't buy the original Transformer and binocular viewer. The Transformer SE that we're looking at right now has a few improvements. It has a reworked electrical architecture to give it better RF sensitivity, and it also allows you to do binocular mode in both HDMI and AV and RF input, whereas the original Transformer could only do binocular mode in the analog views. So if you had a simulator, you couldn't use the binocular viewer to the HDMI input. This one can do all of that, so if you want to do binocular input with the simulator, then the SE is the one for you. If you got $200 to spend on a box goggle, I think the Transformer really has to be on your list. But I also think you need to compare it to some of the other sort of $200 is high end for a box goggle, and you really need to compare it to some of the other ones out there that might have a little bit more usability features, like auto scan, for example, or a DVR. For $100 though, I think you'd be really hard pressed to do any better than the original Transformer. I've seen several $100. They're all the $100 box goggles have a lot of compromises, especially in terms of image size and image quality. And although the original Transformer still lacks some of these features like auto scan and DVR, I really feel like for $100 it would be a really solid overall flying experience, and definitely I think it's a winner in that price range. That's going to do it. Thank you for watching. Happy flying.